did take place in Cancun, Mexico. I believe it was Cancun or Yucatan or something. I don't know where it was, but it was somewhere in the south of Mexico. It was, but the point is, if Tevin didn't do something spectacular, if it was a close fight, it was going to lean towards Cepeda anyways. You know, that's just the way it is. And the thing is, different people value different things. You know, like some people value work rate. You know, they like the fighter that puts out more punches, that throws more punches, that is looking for the fight, and that is trying to fight. You know, and a lot of people see that, and they're attracted. Their eyes are attracted to that type of fighter. You know, and it does have to do with cultural upbringing. Sometimes it has to do with, you know, that kind of stuff. Does it mean that it's racist? Not necessarily. It just means that certain type of people just like certain type of things in their fighters. You know, some other people, you know, like swag. You know, they like the fighter that bounces around more. Even though he's getting hit, he's gonna be, you know, acting like he's doing some shit when maybe he's not doing as much. And other people also like harder punches, you know, better looking punches. If it looks better, then to those people it is better. You know, so just depending on what you like, you're gonna see different things. And the thing about it is that all of those things that I just mentioned were featured in this fight. You had a guy with all the work rate. You had a guy that was pushing forward. You had a guy that was walking the other man down in Cepeda. But then you have a guy in Tevin Farmer that had pretty much all the swag in the world. You're gonna go. Go. Jesus, man. Pretty much all the swag in this guy was in front of me. He couldn't decide if he was gonna go or not. I was like, go. You know. But anyways, getting back to the fight. Tevin Farmer, he has all the swag, you know, he has the moves, right? And stuff like that, but you know, sometimes he wasn't connected. You know, for half of the fight, he wasn't really doing much. He was just bouncing around, trying to look cute. You know, getting hit, but still trying to look like he was doing something. Got knocked down, right? Came back. He wouldn't go out. He kept going. And then the second half of the fight, I feel like Tevin Farmer was doing way better. He was connecting with a lot more, and Cepeda was doing a lot worse. Now, the main controversy of the fight is actually the knockdown that supposedly Tevin Farmer did on William Cepeda. And here's the thing, I don't think it was a knockdown, and it has nothing to do, because a lot of people thinking that it's because I'm racist or whatever, and that I'm trying to defend the Mexican. I don't think it was a knockdown. I think he hit him in the back of the head, right? He hit him in the back of the head, and then he pushed him down. So, and this is a trick. This is a boxing trick, okay? And I know it because in dirty boxing, if you're in the streets, you could use this kind of stuff. Foreman used to do it a lot. Mayweather used to do it a lot. A lot of people do this move. They miss a shot, right? And then they use that same energy to push people's heads down. All right? It's very simple, very easy to do. The thing is, if you don't know these tricks, you're bound to fall to those tricks. That's why when I go to a boxing gym and people ain't teaching you the clinch, people ain't teaching you how to use your forearms to control people, how to hold people's heads down, how to put people's heads to the side, how to frame, all of this stuff is necessary. If you're a purist in the sense of teaching people just punching, you're a bit of a bitch. You know, you're going to be soft and you're going to You're gonna face somebody who knows these tricks, who knows these types of movements, and you're not gonna know what to do. Okay. Now I'm not saying Cepeda is one of these guys that don't know what to do when somebody puts a forearm on his neck, because that's what happened. Tevin Farmer missed the shot. He ended up in the back of his head around his neck, and he used his momentum, his weight, to push down on Cepeda. Plus the momentum of Cepeda ducking to push him down. That's what it was. And it's very clear to me. But of course, people, whether they're biased or not, they're not going to see that. Or they're blinded by whatever it is their agenda is. And I'm not saying it's even race. Like I said, it could be just the fact that they like a fighter more. They like the way he moves more. They like the swag. Or they like the fact that he has a better work rate. You know, whatever the case may be, you know, there is a certain level of favoritism, you know, that takes place when you're looking at a fighter and you prefer one over the other. Now, I'll be completely honest with you. I like Tevin Farmer. I like his style. I like the way he moves and all that shit. I'm an American after all, and in America, we do like that type of shit. You know, but it doesn't mean that I'm gonna cap for him. You know, and I'm not gonna cap for Cepeda either, because I don't really fuck with Cepeda like that either. You know, but my thing is, it was a close fight. You know, I personally can't say it was a robbery because it wasn't clear who was you know, winning, because Cepeda was doing the better work, right? Cepeda was constantly on the front foot, pushing the other guy backwards, and Cepeda was landing more shots, right? But Tevin Farmer, he was catching a lot of shit. So he was catching a lot of shots with his gloves, you know, rolling some of it too. You know, kind of taking a little bit of the sting of a lot of those shots. And he was landing the more prettier shots. Okay, so Tevin Farmer was just looking prettier with his shit. He just looked better because he was doing more, you know, fundamentally sound punches were being landed by Tevin Farmer. Okay? Now, with that being said, it wasn't a knockdown. So I'm going to lean, now that I know that wasn't a knockdown, and reviewing the KO over and over, I mean the knockdown over and over again, I can tell you straight up, that wasn't a knockdown. Okay, like I said before, I'm going to repeat it again. He threw a hook. All right, Cepeda ducked under the hook. Tevin Farmer hit the back of his neck and then pushed him down. That's what happened. Okay, that's pretty much the that's how he, and that rule did a slip, right? It wasn't a slip. If they were being truthful, it would have been a push, and it would have been a warning. I would have been like, I'm gonna warn you one last time. Push him in the back of the head again. That way the guy knows you're aware of what happened. You know, this is part of the reason why I think refs should at least spar or have some type of experience fighting. That way they know what's going on in there. A lot of people, they look and they can't really see what's going on in there because they haven't been in a fight. They haven't sparred before. They don't know that these things happen. Like, this is a very real technique. You miss a shot, you keep that space, you push that space. You know, it's not just punches, bro. Like, a lot of people, their mindset is throwing punches, landing punches, throwing punches. But the truth is, you miss a shot, you keep that space. If you're smart, you keep that space and you push them off. And that's what Tevin Farmer was trying to do in that particular scenario, that particular occasion. You know, he was trying to keep that space, even though he missed the shot. He's like, all right, I missed the shot, but I'm going to keep that space and I'll push your head down. All right, so listen, if he's saying that it's a knockdown, then he's full of shit too. But I'm pretty sure that if he knows what he did, which he does, because he did it, he knows that wasn't a knockdown. It was a push down. Now, if we're going to count push downs, because a lot of people are talking about it was a knockdown. If we're going to count push downs, then you need to let us know. So we can start changing our techniques and implementing new things. Because I got some shit to do. I got tricks myself that I could do, and I could teach people and teach myself and shit. But you gotta let me know that you're gonna change the rules, but you're gonna be changing them just because you want to win this time. It doesn't work that way. You need to let us know. But that's not, in my book, that's not a knockdown. I'm not gonna be blinded by be liking certain guys more than others. Plain and simple, it wasn't a knockdown. If it wasn't a knockdown, it's still a close fight. It's still a close fight, which just should let you know the level of fighting we're dealing with here. We're dealing with guys that actually know how to scrap, and that their level of fighting is peak. Whether it looks good to you or not. It's peak boxing. So yeah, that's my opinion, guys. That's what I think. I think it was a good fight. I think that Cepeda won. I think Tevin Farmer did very good, and I think he made it a good close fight. But I don't think he won. But I do understand if people say that he did win. I do understand if people say that they saw him win, because like I said, it's just people see different things, and I definitely see both perspectives, because I am an American, and at the same time I am a Mexican, and I know what people like from both sides, so I understand. But anyways, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you guys later.